Hi, let's work on the swinging ball and the bouncing ball. So we're going to make this ball bounce. I'm going to drop a key and drop a key on frame 31 and frame 1. I do not need 121 frames on this. I'm just going to reduce this down to 60 frames. Sorry, I'm going to come over to the inner one, 61 frames. You can see that this will affect the timeline. But any keys that disappear, any keys, if you pull it in here, it goes away. But you can pull it right back and see everything. All right. So we're going to get this ball to bounce. Let's go to frame 16 and lift it up. And I'm working on 24 frames a second. Let's switch that back over to 30. And now we see keys not actually on keys. Maybe 20 is, but these ones are not. If you hold down Shift and you select everything, right click and hit snap, it pops them on actual keys. Let's move them over to 16 and 31. I'm going to compress this down to 31 frames so we can just see the bounce happening and only have to work on the bounce. You could turn this to 31 and leave this to 61 because eventually we're going to jump it back to 61 frames. All right. So on frame, we're going to open up our graph editor. And you're going to see a key here to key here. You also see this red line here. The red line is actually all three of these laying on top of each other, the scaling. We're going to scale this for the squash and stretch of the ball. But you can see if I that there's no key here. If I hit S, there will be a key there. If you hit undo, which is Z, it'll disappear. So we're going to drop a key there and hit S. But one of the things I want to show is if I move this again, still no key. It's because the auto key doesn't drop keys. It drops a key there on that one frame, but it doesn't drop it on everything. In time, this will make more and more sense. I only want to work on my Y translation. I'm going to select this handle. Let's lift that up. This handle. And oops. Select the handle, lift it up. I middle mouse click in as I lift it up. There we go. Nice little bounce. One of the things I haven't really communicated too much about is navigating in the graph editor. You navigate just the way you would here, and here if you hit A, it frames up everything. If you select something, hit F, it'll frame up on that. So we have it now a nice up and down here. On frame 2, on frame 1, yeah, I want it to be squished, and then I want on frame 2 as it kind of comes up, kind of shooting up like a bullet. So let's do that. So on frame 1, I'm going to hit R for scale, push it down. Let's push it down by 0.5. But when I want to keep the same thickness of the ball, so on these two, I want to put in 1.25. And everything should add up to be 3. So you can see it kind of gets a little bit more stuck out. As you can see, it's a little lower now, a little off the ground. So let's pull it down to the ground. And now I want 1 over on 31. As you can see, two different shapes. So I'm going to take 1, middle mouse 1 to 31, and drop a key. So it kind of comes up, and as you can see, it gets flat as it comes down. Let's fix that. On the up, this is not the right shape. We want to inverse that shape. So it might make it easier to select them all, pop it to 1. And then select the ball, scale it up on the Y, and have that go to 0.5, 1.5. And then take the other two and bring it down to 0.25. Looks right? So now it shoots up, fills up, comes down, and let's do the same thing here. Again, you can take 2 and middle mouse 2 over to 31 and drop a key. But as you can see, I hit S in here. I have to right click on my viewport and then hit S. And you can see my Y is no longer clean because I dropped a key here on frame 30 when I middle mouse dragged it over and hit S. If I right click and delete, it will get rid of that, but it also got rid of all the scaling. So that's not how you want to do it. If you want to get rid of one specific key, you have to go to in the graph header and delete it. There might be another way to do it, like you kind of come in up here, you can delete it up there. I never use that. I usually always use my graph editor to pick that single key. And now we have kind of a bouncy ball, but there's a slight problem. As it shoots up, that feels pretty good. As it comes down, it's starting to it's looking like it's going fast. We don't really want it to start changing shape till it speeds up. And you can see in here, when it starts to come, the steeper it gets, the faster it's going. And it gets probably steep around 24, 25. This is when I want the scaling to be at 1. And then it starts to pick up speed as it goes faster. And now we have a bouncing ball. Pretty simple. But new things you're learning. Middle mouse dragging, what the auto key is doing, dropping extra keys. So there's a lot kind of going on there. Let's jump over to the scaling. I should probably just go full screen over here. It's going to go too fast if we're going to swing it back and forth. So we need more time. So on frame 1, I'm going to rotate it over here, -90. I'm going to drop a key, but you can see I hit S in here. I have to right click on my viewport, then hit S. Go to frame 61, hit S, go to frame 31, and let's reverse that 90 degrees. Hit play. So it's swinging back and forth, not too shabby. But you can see over here, we get this bouncing ball only bouncing once. So what if I want it to bounce multiple times? There's a couple ways to do it. You can just hand animate all the way through. One option, you can select everything, right click, copy it, go to frame 31, and paste. And now you have a bouncing ball on both sides. And it's kind of broken though. I don't know why it's broken. Let me take a look. Because this handle took over that handle here, because that one's pointed straight down. I never broke it. So let's undo that. The better way to do it, if you're going to have it repeat, is you want to select everything, come over to here, and hit cycle. And you see it repeat. This is the same thing as going to curves, post infinity, cycle, and if I go to constant, turns it off. Curves, post infinity, cycle. You can also have it happen in the prequels, pre-infinity, cycle, or hit that one. And now it continues to bounce. This one is going to be a little bit different. I want to create extra motion between here and here. Right now it's not a bad swing. I want more oomph in that swing. And we're going to do it two different ways. One way, drop a key halfway, 16. You see it kind of changes the handles a little bit. But take this handle and you crank it as far as you can. You can see you can go pretty far. You don't want to go past that point because then it's going to kind of wobble. So you can see there, not very good. Let's pull it to about here. That's looking pretty good. So you get one good swing and then one kind of linear swing. It's not bad, not great. There's another way to do this without creating a key. What you want to do is kind of be on frame 46 where it's pointed straight down. We're going to select this handle. We're going to go to curves and go to weighted tangent and activate it. And now you can see these handles can now stretch. Beforehand they couldn't. They just would go up and down. So now we want to stretch both these handles to make them line longer. But we don't want to stretch this side, so we need to break it. And we can select this. And if you select this side over here, you can hold down Shift, middle mouse click and drag, and that's going to keep it linear. And you can go pretty harsh, as you can see. I want to kind of mimic the other side. Probably about that. And hit play. So now you learned how to modify a rotation with a key in the middle, or not use a key at all. To be fair, I rarely ever use this, because one of the reasons why, if I go to frame 56, I'm like, I want to modify it. Actually, let's go to frame 4 first. I want to modify, drop a key, change the curve a little bit, nothing drastic. Go to frame 58, drop a key, change the handle curve pretty significantly. So the weighted tangents work really well if you only know, you're not going to be modifying keys in between, putting keys in between them. But as you can see, it does work, but like I said, I usually prefer this one. This technique over that technique. But I have occasionally used this through my career, but not a lot. Probably once every 2 months. Maybe not even that. All right, let's go and create a play blast. And that will be play blast, polishing squish, everything's set the way I like. And there we go. All right, next video will be the ball roll, I believe. Yep, ball roll. Save the scene.